Hello, this is Codod. Welcome back. In the last tutorial, we have created the pages for login and register. And in this tutorial, I want to show you how to create a better structure for your PHP application. When I was a beginner, I used to write my PHP code in the same file with my HTML code, but this usually causes big problems. Mixing your PHP code with your HTML isn't a very smart idea. The code is harder to maintain and it's also harder to debug. And of course, your pages get really big. So, later on, I learned about separating these two, keeping my PHP logic separated from what the user sees from the interface or the view file, basically the HTML. So my idea is to move all the HTML from each page in a different file that we are going to name with the .view extension .php. But before doing that, first I want to create a new directory in my old root directory. So CSS, I just want to move my index.css in this CSS directory. And now I have to change the path CSS. Basically do the same thing in each page. CSS, save, and let's see the result in the browser. Okay, perfect. And now in the root directory of our old project, we want to create a new directory and name this directory views. This is where we want to put our HTML. So let's start with the home page. So create a new file in this views directory, home.view.php. This is the naming used just so that we know this is a view file. This is a PHP file that contains HTML and not some kind of PHP logic. Okay, and now what we have to do is to simply take out the HTML from index.php and move it in home.view.php. Now we want to include that home.view.php in this index.php, and we want to use a language construct that is require once. This is used to include a file only once, if that file is not already included. And the other thing that it does, it throws a fatal error in case the file is missing, which means the execution of the PHP code stops. We do not want to our PHP code to go on if this view file is missing, if a certain file is missing. So now I have to pass the path views, then home.view.php, save, and let's see the result in the browser. Perfect. If you only have PHP in your PHP files, you are not required to add this PHP closing tag. Okay, now we have to do the same thing for, let's see, we start with login.view.php. So take out all the HTML from login.php and move it into login.view.php. Now one more file in our views directory, register.view.php. Take out all the HTML from here, from register.php, and move it in register.view.php. Okay, and now we have to include these two files. So this is login.view.php, php require once, and then views login.view.php. Copy this from here just to save some time. Open register.php and change this to register.view.php. Save, and all is fine. Now if we look at our pages, we see that we have certain elements that are similar in each page, the navbar and the footer. These two sections from our HTML is similar in every page. And now if we look in our view files, let's see, views, if we look at the home.view.php, you can see that this is the portion of code that of HTML that is repeated in each page. So if we look at login.view.php, let's see, basically the same HTML code, and the same goes the HTML, basically the same HTML. And if we look to our footer, to this area, we have exactly the same HTML uh, section in each page. So what we want to do is to create a new directory in our views folder. Let's call this layout, and here we want to create two files for these two HTML sections that are repeated. So we have the head.view.php and the footer.view.php. We really want to organize our code as best as possible, just to not keep repeating ourselves. So from login.view.php, we can take out this whole HTML section and move it into head.view.php. Back to login.view.php, we can take out this whole HTML section starting with the footer and move it into footer.view.php. Perfect. Now we basically have to do the same thing for home.view.php. Remove this from here. Let's see. So remove this from here and the footer. Basically the footer of our HTML structure with the ending body and HTML tags. Do the same for let's see. So this is home.view.php. Our login is done, and now we have to do the same thing for register.view.php. Remove this. Perfect. And now we go back to our pages. So we have index.php. Now we have to require that those files to require once views layout head.view.php, and once again require once after we include the content of each page. Have views layout footer.view.php, and basically we can copy this and just to save some time paste it right here. This is login.view.php, register.view.php, save, and let's see the result. Perfect. Now you can see that in each PHP file we have a code that is repeated. So we have these 3 lines everywhere. When we have a PHP code that is repeated, we think about creating a function, and this is what we want to do. We want to create a function to load the view for each file. So let's see, we can create a new directory in the root of our project in the auth directory. So, and let's call this folder common, and in this common directory create a new file, functions.php, and this is where we want to define those common functions that we want to use. So the first one, function view, because we want to load a view, and then we need the name of the view that we want to load. Okay, and we take out these 3 lines and paste it inside the body of this function. Let's see. And what we need to change is the name of the view file that we want to load. Basically we want to concatenate that variable right here, and we are done. Now in our index.php we simply require this functions file. So we have common functions.php. Now we can add a comment right here, load view, and we can say view, let's see, home, and that is all we need. Save. Let's see the result. Perfect. Now we need to do the same thing in each file. So login.php, we have login, register.php, we have register, and with this we are done with this tutorial. I hope you find this really useful. See you in the next one.